All right, boom, boys. I didn't do live trading today because I don't be teaching in my class on Tuesdays or Thursdays, so I didn't get out my bed. But I did hit a winning trade today. Finally, we broke the streak. I don't know what it was, but all of my trading setups will play out, but I just was getting stopped out. I got stopped out, and the price action ran to my TP every single time. I get stopped out, and that was happening for 3 days in a row. I get stopped out, running my TP, stopped out, running my TP, stopped out, running my TP. So I know it wasn't my analysis. Today I waited today. That was the only thing that was different. It's today I just waited for a good trade. You feel me? And it ended up playing out in my direction. And this trade I do teach, or this little what's the name? I do teach to my students. I did call it out in the Discord server for my students as well. So if y'all boys do want to join, hit the link in my description. Apply for it. You don't got to if you don't want to though. But yeah, let's go over this trade and how we ended up catching this amazing top tick right here. You feel me? Like I said, today was choppy. I didn't tell y'all that, but today was extremely choppy. For it to be a Tuesday, usually price action is really good on Tuesdays. But another thing as well is that yesterday we had really good price action on Monday. So when Monday has good price action, or price action, like this huge candle, we got that huge move. A lot of people caught this. When we have good price action like that on Mondays or any other day, the next day price action is going to be terrible. That is what I have started to realize. And so it makes sense on why price action here today was terrible for both Asia and London session and the beginning of New York AM session. But PM session, we got the move. And that's what I told my students. My bad. I didn't mean to hit y'all. That's what I told my students. I'm not trading into New York PM. My nigga. PM is probably like one of the best times to trade in my opinion, because you can either catch the reversal, or more than likely New York lunch is going to be pulling back and you can catch the continuation of the first initial move that we had, right? That's how I like to look at it. PM session, you got a lot more information, you feel, and you can just catch those trades. So now, look, don't get me wrong. I do be checking on AM session. I love AM session still. But like I said, PM session just give me more opportunity because I know a lot more what's going on. I can read the charts a lot better. But yeah, like I said, I called this out for my students right here. Let's go to it. Go to from seek me right here. That's my disable. Gotta turn that off so I can show y'all boys. All right, let's go over here. It was earlier this morning. As y'all can see, this was me in the trade right here. We're in the trade, called it out. Let's see. Here we go, right here. This was at 8:52 a.m., right? So this was 20 minutes after the market opened. Now I seen that the market wasn't moving, right? So I wasn't expecting to take a trade. I took one right here. It was a little small scalp trade. I got out pretty early, but it ended up running to my TP. It's like only like $200, right? But I was really waiting on this trade up here. Now why? Okay, let's go over why. Now that I showed y'all proof that I was not lying about this trade. We have a range right here, right? Now I talked. Dang, I'm stuttering a lot today. Now, I talked to y'all a lot about the power of three, and that the market moves like that. The market is going to accumulate, manipulate, and distribute every single time. Over here, for example, you can use this as a manipulation leg, but how I would look at it, this would be our manipulation leg right here. After we created this high right here, you got this as your manipulation leg, and we also come in the consequent encroachment of this previous wick right here. We also did have an SMT, and we proceed to push downwards because this is on the 1 hour time frame. So if we go to a lower time frame, like the 15-minute, we can see we had relative equal highs right here, came above, and highs over here, highs and lows over here. We come above here, sweep these highs and lows, and we proceed to push downwards, right? So this would be our manipulation leg, you feel? And we proceed to push down. So the market tends to always move like that. Like if we look over here, we have these relatively equal lows. We come through, sweep these lows, and then proceed to push up higher, right? Same thing right here, come through, push up out here. Now, a thing that a lot of people do not talk about is what makes manipulation more powerful and the whole power 3 thing more powerful is if it manipulates into a PD array, right? So if it manipulates into OC of this range, which all of my PD arrays that I use for an entry model lined up perfectly, right? But it can be OCE, order block, FFG, whatever it is. If it manipulates into it, that's a really good sign that the market is going to continue. And plus, another thing, if it follows the trend, I know a lot of y'all don't do that, but if it follows the trend, it might be a good trade. You feel me? And that is what it ticked out all of those check boxes today. If I wasn't trading the eval, if I was not trading the eval, I would have put 3 contracts on this. No cap. I would have put 3 contracts on this. As you can see, this was a 10-point stop loss. But since I'm trading the new eval because my past account got terminated because I had a bad 3 days. But you know, I would have put 3 contracts on here, 3 NASDAQ contracts, and this would have gave me $5,000. This would have been a $5,000 trade, and I would only be risking 615. I would have put 3 contracts on here, no cap. So yeah, though, let's go over what I got. Of course, I just told you about the range thing. We ranged here. This is doing London, Asia, and New York PM. Right? Look, as you can see, we come up here, come back down. We're just grabbing liquidity from each side and going and swinging back and forth. Right? Cool. All right, we understand range and all that type of stuff. Right? But what I peeped as well, if we go to the 1 hour time frame, I see that we have these relatively equal highs, right? I want to see these highs get taken out before we continue down lower. Why? Because we had this breaker structure over here to the left side of us, right? This was my first initial reasoning on why I was choosing sales, because we have this breaker structure, right? And on the 1 hour time frame, we fully closed below these this counter right here. We could have said, you really could say you want to see us close below these candles, because these up closing candles are the ones that pushed us up before we had that big move down. So down here would be technically your breaker structure. Now this would be considered a real deal breaker structure. But when you have this huge imbalance, I want to see this imbalance get cleared before we so we can continue down lower. And this is exactly what we did on 1 hour time frame. Perfect. Okay, I see that we have a breaker structure here, right? See that we have a breaker structure. Now after this breaker structure or this huge move that we just got, we now have an accumulation stage or range stage where we're not really going anywhere, just in the same spot. We're just gathering orders. We know news is coming up, so we want to be careful. Cool, makes sense. Boom. I mark out these highs. I see that we have a high right here that I think London put this high out. London puts this high out right here. I want to see us come above this high during the New York session and come above this high and then push down lower. And that's exactly what we got. Why did I want to see that as well? Because this is a 1 hour fair value gap. Now, fair value gaps are not just, oh, if I see it, take it. Nah, it's not that, but this just helps my bias, right? I don't want to see us come above this fair value gap, right? That's how you got to look at fair value gaps. You don't want to see fair value gaps get disrespected. Now, if this fair value gap would have got disrespected, we probably would be continuing up higher. Now, basic order flow of the market just does not move like that. You know what I'm saying? The market is not going to come down like this, top like this, and then push up. Like it just doesn't move like that unless we have news, right? But it doesn't move like that. It's going to continue out bearish price action, right? We're going to create a lower high, higher high, then a lower high right here, and a lower low down here, next a lower low. Or we consider this a lower high right here, right? We could consider this one a lower high. That's how bearish price action works, and that's the same thing with bullish price action. We're not going to, as you can see, come to this range. Let's see where we range it. I guess you can say this is a range, right? So when we come up here, we break through this range, come down, we sweep. This would be a sleeper liquidity or manipulation, right? Because I have these highs marked out. This would be a range. Break through this range. We come up, we build up like that. Now, the market can pull down like this, like it did, but this just would be a higher time frame pullback, right? And then of course we gap up. Now we're creating higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Now we're going to go back downwards, right? And that's essentially what the market do. It's hunting liquidity, right? So boom, like I said, The market just doesn't typically move like that. Now it will move like that. Don't get me wrong, but it typically doesn't. It just doesn't feel right or look right for the market to do that. Yeah. So this is my lower low right here. This would be the lower low, and plus I want to see us respect this fair value gap. That's the main thing I want to see is respect that fair value gap. We can come into the fair value gap all we want, but let's see if we respect it. If we cannot respect it, this fair value gap is invalid, right? Every fair value gap is invalid if we cannot respect it, right? This fair value gap right here, we fully closed below it. We did not respect this fair value gap. It's not good no more, right? So after that, of course, my entry model, I don't just always typically just go in for the top tick like this, but I was really confident in this trade because it also lined up with OTE of this range right here. So the top to the bottom right here. This is also OTE of this range. You know, it didn't come all the way to the, yeah, it actually did. No, it didn't. It didn't come all the way to the 0.6 or the, of course, we didn't want to see it come to the 0.7, but it came pretty close to it, so that lined up with it as well. So I was really confident in this trade, and that's the main thing you have to be when you're taking a trade. But if you trade normally, not with 10-point stop, like a 15 to 20-point stop, something like that. Let me make sure this is a 15 to 20 point. Yeah, 15. That's 16 points right there. You can wait for the market to push down like this. You get the initial, what's that word, confirmation. Boom, push down like this, and you can re-enter right back here. You get what I'm saying? Re-enter right there and still got the same trade. You feel me? Or if you wanted to wait and you see we're ranging, you can catch this little shooting star method. You feel me? Where I be telling y'all boys about the shooting star method. You can catch that. As you can see, we still ran down to the downside. No drawdown, none of that. I've talked to my students a bunch about the shooting star method. It's actually in one of my lectures in my Discord class. Shooting star method is one of my favorite things you could do. And I'm not going to leak it. You thought I was going to leak it? Nigga, you crazy boy. I got a course to sell, gang. Let me chill, because niggas finna start flipping me. All right, boom, though. But yeah, that is this trade essentially, though. You know, it's a bunch of entry models. I might make a video just strictly about talking about entry models. If y'all want that, let me know. I am working on the how to trade video. I am working on it. It's been in the workings. I promise you, it's coming out pretty soon. I got the PowerPoint and all that stuff set out. But yeah, though. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. God loves y'all. I'll catch y'all on another one. Peace out. Boom.